Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Gulick. I'm here today from the Jackson School of Geosciences from the University of Texas at Austin to tell you guys about the GeoForce program and see if it's something that your kids would be interested in joining. And if there's any students here in the crowd as well, see if it's something that you'd be interested in doing this year if you're an 8th grader. So GeoForce is this really cool program. We're kind of one of the only programs of our kind in the entire country. And we are a free outreach program run by UT, did we just start? I think there might have been a countdown. I'm gonna restart just in case. Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Gulick, and I am here from UT, from the University of Texas at Austin, from the Jackson School of Geosciences, which is the College of Geology at UT. And I'm here to talk about the GeoForce program and see if it's something that your kids would be interested in joining us this year or in future years, and seeing if they are interested and inspired or want to be inspired by geoscience. So our program is a totally free outreach program run by UT. And we're kind of a summer camp program. Our mission is just to inspire our students to pursue STEM degrees in college, especially the geosciences, since we are a geoscience program. And I'll talk about the geosciences here in a second. But we consider ourselves a college preparatory program. So we really help our students regardless of what major they go into in college or what they want to do after high school. And we also help our students throughout college, and we try to help them move on to rewarding careers, again, in whatever field it is that they want to do. And I'll talk about our college program again a little bit later. But why do we care about the geosciences? Why do we have this whole summer outreach program about the geosciences? Geoscience is actually, in my opinion, which is maybe a little bit biased, the coolest branch of science. It is one of the most rewarding fields of science. It's interdisciplinary, so it combines all the other fields of science and technology and engineering and mathematics, and applies them to these big real-world problems, some of the biggest problems that are facing the world today, things like the energy crisis, meteorology, so weather science, water, mineral resources, stewardship of the environment, discovering more about the depths of the ocean or the reaches of space, or reduction of natural hazards. So that's things like earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, tsunamis. All of those things are things that geoscientists cover. So it's a really big and very important field of science, and unfortunately not one that's taught very often at the middle school and high school level. So that's why our program is here to give the students that understanding and see if it's something that they want to go into in college. Because of all that, geoscientists need to have strong critical thinking skills, right? They really need to be able to think outside the box and come up with the best solutions to these big issues. And they need to have strong verbal and written skills. And those things are things that we try to teach our students as part of our program. Our program is a 4-year commitment. So they join us for 1 week every summer for 4 summers, and each summer builds on the previous summer. So we really try throughout those 4 summers to really prepare the students to use their critical thinking skills, to be able to communicate well, and to really be prepared for those college level academics, those college level research and things like that. So what we're looking from the students right now is just a passion to explore the world. Students who are interested in science, who want to know how things work and figure out how all the processes on the earth work together. That's what we care about with our students right now. So these are some of the fields that you can go into if you become a geoscientist. If you are a geoscience major, you can, of course, go into research. You could research a number of different things like soil science or the ocean, planetary science, mineralogy. You could research hydrology, so water science. You could research rocks itself and rock processes. You can research the atmosphere and weather. Lots of different options in research. Or you can go into sort of the practical applications of that knowledge with engineering, agricultural engineering, chemical engineering, mining engineering, petroleum engineering. All of that are considered part of the geosciences or careers you can go into from the geosciences, from a geoscience major. Or we also encourage our students to think sort of outside the box in terms of STEM. You can become a geoscience major and then go into law. You could go to law school after a geoscience undergrad. Environmental law firms, land use law firms, they recruit heavily from the geosciences. Policy is also a great option. We actually have a GeoForce alumni who got hired by the Texas House of Representatives to consult on environment and energy policy as part of being a geoscientist. So that's an option. You could go into business. One of our professional mentors and sponsoring companies was started by a geoscientist who used his knowledge of geoscience in collaboration with sort of a business sense to create his own company, which is very exciting. Or education, of course, is always a great choice. I also like to talk to the students about the combination of the arts and science. Those who really enjoy things like drawing, painting, design, or writing, but who also have an interest in science should definitely consider becoming a science major and then using that passion for the arts. Museums, for instance, will hire artists who have that science background to design their exhibits, or science journals will hire writers with that science background to do the science journalism. And then the final section I'd like to talk about here is medicine. So there's actually a field called geohealth, which is the combination of the health professions and geoscience. And geoscience or geohealth researchers do a lot of very important sort of research that is definitely cutting edge right now about things like how different chemicals and atmospheric changes affect people's health. And geohealth communicators will also come up with plans on how to save lives with sort of natural disaster situations, such as those hurricanes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and things like that. So there's a lot of options for students if they go into the geosciences. It's a really big field. It's a field that's continuing to grow. There's a lot of job opportunities within the field, which is pretty exciting. Our program, as I mentioned, costs nothing. It is completely funded by UT, by the Jackson School of Geosciences, and by a bunch of these sponsoring companies, federal grants, foundations, and things like that. So we're very grateful for all of our company sponsors. And one of the great things about having all of these company sponsors is that they send professional mentors on the fields, during the field academies with us. So each of these company sponsors will send, 2 professional mentors. So we'll have about 2 professional mentors per academy from different companies and from different careers in the geosciences to talk to the students about their options and the various, ways that they got into their current job, the major that they did in college, their early career options, and what it is that they do at their current job as a professional geoscientist or engineer or computer scientist. All of those things are very interrelated with the geosciences. So that's a great option. I'll also say that on our field trips, on our summer academies, we also have undergraduate and graduate students as part of the staff. And we do our best to give space for those staff members to talk with the students about what it's like being in college, how they applied, how they chose their major, and things like that. So again, we really try to give our students enough information that they can make the best choices for their own future. Now, our program's been around for a really long time. We started in 2005 in rural Southwest Texas, which is hard to believe we're coming up on 17 years. 2005 feels like not that long ago. But we did expand then to Houston in 2008 and then officially to Austin in 2020. So those are our 3 primary areas we take students from, and that's where our 3 cohorts come from every year. So I'll talk about cohorts in a second, but we're very proud of our program. We do consider ourselves a very successful program. 82% of our students are underrepresented minority in the geosciences, and 62% identify as female. And these numbers we really like because historically the geosciences have all kind of come from the same background. Geoscientists have all come from the same background historically. So the whole point of our program is introducing new voices into the geosciences. And it's something that the Jackson School of Geosciences is very excited about, something that our companies are very excited about, and they really try to make sure that all of these diverse voices from our students really come in and bring their own perspectives to the geosciences. And our program is very successful in that. 14% of our students go into the geosciences. 14% might not sound like a lot, but only 0.001% of all students in college major in a geoscience field. So our 14% is more than 35 times the national average, which is great to keep in mind because, as mentioned, those geoscience career options, there's quite a lot and it's a growing field, but there's still not that many students who go into geoscience in college. So it's a really great option for students to go into in college to really have a wide career option in their future. Our staff is quite small. We have over here Dr. Leah Turner. She is the director of our program. She's out here making sure we continue to be successful. And then John Hash, Linda Quintero, and myself are the coordinators. We're doing all the logistics. I personally am the one that runs all of these sort of student communication and registration. So if your student applies and gets into the program, I will be sending you constant emails with information about how to register them and make sure you get all your paperwork squared away for the summer. And then whoever the coordinator is for your student for any particular summer will also send you communication about things like where it is they'll be staying every night, what the schedule is, so that you have all of the information you need to know about our trip. We really try to keep our parents informed about what's going on those summer academies. Now here, Dr. Dana Thomas, she is our college program specialist. She works at UT, and she's one of our resources that we give for our college students. Dr. Dana Thomas sends out biweekly emails with things like scholarship opportunities, internship opportunities, job opportunities. We also send out, with our students' permission, for our seniors in college and our graduate students, we will send out their resumes to our sponsoring companies, and we have several of our students have found jobs at our sponsoring companies through that. So we do really try to kind of be a pipeline for our students as they're moving up into the career world. And then in terms of scholarships, this is a question we get a lot. We do offer GeoForce scholarships to our alumni. We only are able to offer our GeoForce scholarships to our alumni who go to UT and who primarily are science majors, especially geoscience or engineering majors. Those are kind of our assured subsect that we are able to give our scholarships to. We have potential for scholarships for any of our alumni at UT. Unfortunately, we are not legally allowed to give our GeoForce scholarship to students who go to schools that are not UT. However, like I said, Dr. Dana Thomas sends out a lot of scholarship opportunities to our students, and many of our students do go to other universities and find scholarships, and we definitely help and encourage them to apply for all sorts of different scholarships. So that's a great option for our students. 20% of our students are first generation college students, so we really pride ourselves in having a very robust transition to college program and really helping our students regardless of their background and sort of what y'all know in your families. We really give all the information we can to our families and our students so that they are able to apply for college successfully and then succeed within college and as they move on to their careers. Our students do go to college all across the country. We have students at places like Harvard and Stanford and Yale. Of course, most of our students do stay here in Texas, which we love that most of our students come to UT as a UT program. We also have a lot of students at places like Texas A&M, University of Houston, UTSA, Texas Tech, Texas State, etc. And all of these places where we have a large student group, such as at UT, there tends to be a club that the students can join. So at UT, that's the GeoForce Longhorns Club. So it's this built-in social network that the students have when they're at college, and they really get to have those friends that they've made throughout their time with GeoForce be that support for them socially when they start off in college, which is great. So here are two of our students that I want to talk about here for a second that have been able to do some really cool things as part of being part of our program. So this is Stephanie Suarez. Stephanie was part of our Houston cohort, and she went on to enter UT and get her bachelor's at UT in geology. And then she moved on to the University of Houston, where she is pursuing her PhD. So pretty soon she'll be Dr. Suarez, which is pretty cool. And one amazing thing about that is that Stephanie is a first-generation college student. Her parents never even graduated high school or were not allowed or able to graduate high school with their situations. So Stephanie went from that household where she didn't really have a lot of familial support and understanding about college, and is now getting the highest level of degree you can possibly earn in the sciences with her PhD, which is really amazing. As part of getting the PhD, and one thing about graduate school in general with your master's and PhD in the sciences is that graduate school in the sciences is always paid for. You always get either a fellowship, a teaching assistantship, a research assistantship, something like that. So our graduate students in the sciences get paid to get that upper level of education. And for Stephanie's case, she is getting paid by the National Science Foundation and NASA to be one of the few people in the world who gets to hands-on study Martian meteorites. So she gets to work with rocks that have come from Mars as she's pursuing her PhD, which is really amazing. One other thing I'll note about Stephanie, she worked as a counselor for us when she was an undergrad student, and that's another opportunity we offer our students in college. Our students tend to love to come back and join the academies again when they're in college and get paid to be counselors. And that's what I talked about, those counselors who are current college students who can talk with our students about what they're doing in college. That's part of our whole system, is that our GeoForce alumni go through our GeoForce students go through the program, they go to college, they become alumni, and then they come back as counselors and can talk to the younger GeoForce students about all of these opportunities and the paths that they have taken. So Stephanie was able to do that. And then we have here Isaac Ruiz. Isaac is from our Southwest region. He's from Eagle Pass. He also went to UT and got his Bachelor of Science in Geology, and then stayed at UT that extra 2 years to get his master's. And that landed him a job with one of our sponsoring companies, Repsol. Repsol is an energy company. They have offices all over the US, but their headquarters is in Madrid, Spain. So as part of getting this job as an exploration geologist with Repsol, Isaac was sent to live in Spain for 9 months, and he got to explore all over Europe while he was getting training for the job. And now he's moved back to Texas and is working in their Houston office and having a really great time being an exploration geologist with Repsol. So that's really exciting. So for our program, like I said, it's a 4-year commitment. We recruit our students in the 8th grade to join us the summer before 9th grade. And that's how we label our academy. So it's the 9th grade academy is filled with students who are about to go into 9th grade. And then the 10th grade academy, students about to go into 10th grade. And we go all the way up to the 12th grade academy for those students that are about to become seniors. And then that's when we transition them into that transition to college program and give them all the support with their college applications. We will help them. We will read their essays for them, their college essays. We will write them a letter of recommendation and things like that. But for now, I'm looking just for the 8th grade students to join our Southwest 9th grade cohort. And I really want students who are interested in science, who want to learn more about the geosciences, who want to see if it's something that they want to do in the future, and who really want to prepare for those college level classes and research. Our Southwest 9th grade cohort will be going out pretty early in June. We are this June 5th through 11th date. So if your student is going to apply, I would go ahead and write that date down on your calendar so you can make sure not to book a family trip over that week. That's June 5th through 11th. And we will have a lot of great staff members on this trip. I will actually be the coordinator on the trip. So I will be the one in charge of making sure our students are safe and having fun and learning and everything they need to be doing on this trip. And then we'll have an expert geoscientist who will be the one actually teaching the course material. So this is either a researcher, faculty member, or postdoctoral fellow at either UT or one of our partnering institutions who really is an expert in the field and who can answer any questions the students have and really engage them with what they need to learn for that particular year. We do have, as I mentioned, these 2 other cohorts, that Houston cohort and that Austin cohort. What's nice about these permanent cohorts that we have every summer is that if for some reason the student does have some conflict that is taking place over the week they're supposed to go out with their Southwest cohort, if it's another camp you can't get out of or some sort of trip or family situation that you absolutely cannot reschedule, then we do hold a couple open spots in each of the other cohorts to allow for our students to switch. So if there's some reason next year that your student can't join the Southwest group, they could maybe join the Austin group just for that summer to still get the experience that they need for the summer. And then I'll also point out this virtual cohort that is in July. The virtual cohort is a new thing. It's kind of our silver lining from the COVID-19 pandemic. Our cohorts are 42 students in size. So we take 42 students from the Southwest, 42 students from Houston, and 42 students from Austin on our traveling academies. 42 students fills up pretty fast, especially since I've recruited it pretty much every single middle school in the Southwest region, all the way from Eagle Pass, Del Rio, Lakey, Nueces Canyon, Hondo, the whole circle. I've recruited at all of those schools. So 42, like I said, it fills up pretty fast. But luckily, we've created these very robust virtual academy programs because of COVID-19. So now we have a sort of working wait list option, which we're very excited about. So now for the students who are qualified, who apply and they're qualified, we really liked their application, but they didn't quite make it to that top 42 students, they'll now be invited to join the virtual cohort. The virtual cohort learns all the same things. They just learn it virtually online through Zoom lectures, virtual field experiences, and things like that. And then the top students from the virtual academy will be accepted into the traveling cohort when spots open up in future years. So again, it's a working wait list, which is really great. It's also really great for our students who might not be physically able to join us on some of these field experiences. We have this opportunity for them to be part of our program regardless. And then it's great for students who maybe get the stomach flu the day before they're supposed to go out with us. That happens. And it's very unfortunate that they can't then join us for the week, but at the very least, they can join us for the virtual academy that summer so they don't miss any of the materials they're supposed to be learning. Because like I said, every summer builds on the previous summer. So it's important for our students to have that previous summer's worth of content, understanding of content. So the content of the 9th grade is all about water. Water is sort of the biggest mover and shaker on the earth. It's one of the most important processes for all geologic processes and will really help them understand things as they go up through our program. So we start with water systems. We start with river systems, learning about erosion and how rivers move towards the coast. And then we will move towards the coast ourselves. We'll learn about estuaries and bays. With the in-person academy, we will actually take our students out on a ship, on a research ship, out into the bay to do some marine ecology experiments. And then we will also do some experiments on the beach. We'll actually travel up 3 different beaches as we go up the Texas coast. So we'll do some experiments on Corpus Christi Beach, and then Matagorda Bay Beach, and then Galveston Beach, and really teach the students the differences between the beaches, why they're different, and they get to do some hands-on science on the beaches. And then we'll also talk about hurricanes and hurricane damage and how hurricanes physically change the coastline, which is a lot of things students don't necessarily think about or realize at this point. So lots of very exciting things on the 9th grade. This is my little disclaimer, which is that right now we are planning on doing traveling academies this summer. However, should the University of Texas and our youth protection program declare that it would be unsafe to do so, we will transfer all of our academies to the virtual space. We hope we won't have to do that, but that is our backup plan should there be a reason that we can't go out in person. In fact, several years ago, one of our Southwest 9th grade academies did run into issue because a hurricane hit the beach as they were, hit the coastline where they were doing the in-person academy. So this virtual academy option allows us to still engage our students if there's some sort of reason why we wouldn't be able to safely do the in-person activities we have planned. If that's the case, at least our students can look forward to next year, or the year after, I should say, summer 2023, where we will fly all the students to the desert Southwest. We will fly them into Nevada and then travel to Utah and Arizona, get to visit some really amazing places such as Zion National Park, the Grand Canyon. We'll get to take a tour down into Glen Canyon Dam and a raft ride down the Glen Canyon. The raft ride is a very calm raft ride. It's not whitewater rafting. It's just a bit of a cruise down Glen Canyon. And then they'll learn all about how the geology of the desert Southwest relates to the geology of Mars, which is a really cool connection that we get to make. So here I have a video. You might want to turn up the volume on your computers because it's going to be a little soft potentially, but this video was created for us by that GeoForce Longhorns club I mentioned, that club at UT. These are all our students at UT who decided to put together this video a couple years ago, talking about all of the cool experiences they had as part of our program and in college because they were part of our program.
GeoForce. It's done more than just prepare me for college.
It directed me to a future I couldn't imagine before.
Over 95% of its graduates attended college. So did I.
Me too. And now nothing is beyond my reach.
No place too far. No job too big.
For this future professor,
Engineer.
Doctor.
researcher, environmental scientist,
Geophysicist. GeoForce is taking me from the Great Florida Reefs to the Colorado River, all the way to Mount St. Helens.
and over mountains I thought I'd never climb.
So applications are open right now, and we really hope you encourage your students, your 8th graders, to apply. All of this information is available on our website. This QR code, you can scan it and pull up the application. However, we do ask that the students wait to have everything ready before they go ahead and start applying, because it's hard to come back to the application. It's easier just to do it all at once. So we'll need general information about the student, including a personal email. Oftentimes school emails, if the student has a school email, they don't always let outsiders email in, and email is the primary way we communicate with our students and parents. So we ask that the students have a personal email. If your student doesn't have a personal email yet, it's not a bad time for you to help them create one. Often just their name at Gmail or Yahoo or whatever it is. It's just good to start having set up, because I'm sure there will be opportunities where they will want to use that personal email in college and in high school, and as they apply to college in the future and things like that. So creating a personal email and encouraging your students to get into a habit of checking their email regularly is a good thing. But then, of course, we need a parent or guardian email, whoever it is that checks their email most often in your family. We only ask for, and we only have a system in place to take one parent or guardian email. So again, whoever is the primary sort of family communicator in the family, that would be the email you put down. As I mentioned, that would be the email that we are contacting about things like registration and other paperwork that we need. So it's important that it is an email that you check regularly as well. We will need the student's final report card from last year. If they don't have it, if you haven't saved it, then you can ask your school and they should be able to get you the report card from last year. We just need a PDF, screenshot, picture, whatever it is, to upload into the application. There is a place on the application where students can explain if their grades from last year were lower than what they think they can do. But I will say that we don't care that much about grades this year. We understand that COVID-19 was really hard on students. So grades are just used as a tiebreaker, essentially. Right now, what we care most about with the application are these 3 short answer questions. So the students will answer these in about 50 to 150 words, 1 to 2 paragraphs. And we definitely encourage them to write these down ahead of time and get you or their teachers to read them over. The questions are: what do you want to be when you grow up and why? What interests you about the geosciences? They can talk about geosciences as a whole or any aspect of the geosciences, the ocean, space, climate, environment, whatever it is that they think is interesting and they want to learn more about. And finally, why do you want to be part of GeoForce? So again, those are the most important parts of our application, and we really hope that our students put a lot of effort into answering those questions. The applications are due by January 1st, that we encourage the students to get them done this month so they're not scrambling over winter break to do it. And then we will let everyone know in January whether they've been accepted to the Traveling Academy, the Virtual Academy, or not at all. So that is our timeline by the end of January, first week of February at the very latest, but we hope to get the decisions by the end of January. And then in February for our accepted students, we will be working on registering them to be able to join us this summer. We do have a Zoom session, so if there's any additional questions after tonight, or someone wasn't able to make it tonight, or if a student has any question about the application, you can join us on Zoom. Obviously, the October one's already passed, but we will be on Zoom this Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. This is the Zoom link right here. The meeting ID is 994-535-21077. So you can just go to Zoom and type in that meeting ID, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and join us and ask whatever questions you might have. That is totally optional. We just have that there if the students or parents need it. And that is all I have. If you have social media, we encourage you to follow us on Twitter or Instagram. If you have any quick questions after this or any questions about our program at all, feel free to email us. This is the email geoforce@JSG, that's Jackson School of Geosciences, .utexas.edu. And this is also our website right here, jsg.utexas.edu/geoforce. And that is all I have. Is there any questions? A lot of times parents will ask if they're allowed to chaperone. Unfortunately, you are not. That is something we try, again, as part of being a college preparatory program and really teaching our students to be student leaders and to really have a lot of independence. We do ask that parents do not chaperone. We have a lot of staff on our trips. We have those professional mentors I mentioned, 6 counselors. So that's a counselor per every 7 students. We have an educational coach who is a middle school or high school teacher typically. And then we have our instructor, right? Our geoscience content expert. And then I will also be there as the coordinator to be in charge of safety. So we have a lot of staff and we really make sure that our students are monitored at all times. And we ask that parents and respect that. However, students are allowed to bring their phones, and we do give our students time, whether it's on the bus or when they're back at their hotels at night, and we encourage them to contact their parents, let them know how things are going, and things like that. Other than that question, any other questions? No? Okay. Well, if you think of something later, please feel free to email me at that GeoForce email. I'm the primary communications director, so to speak. I'm not a director, but the communications team member of the GeoForce team. And I'm the one that primarily answers the GeoForce email. So feel free to address me directly in the email or just address the GeoForce team. Or if you want to ask questions of our director, Dr. Leah Turner, then I will forward that email along to her. But we are here to answer any concerns you might have, any questions about the application, anything that might come up as your students are applying. So we look forward to seeing all of their applications and reading all of their short answers and giving y'all our answers in January. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you coming and watching this presentation. Bye, thank you.